right.
All
We're
right.
off.
Footy talk. First subject, Ronaldo crying. What are your thoughts?
He looked really emotional when they were doing the anthems, like more than usual. He was singing and he was kind of like shaking a little bit. And I was like, oh, he's a bit excited. But then he kind of carried on, obviously, after he missed the penalty. I texted
Yeah.
you during, I thought he might be going through something in the background, like maybe something personal. But I think you're right. It's just last dance, emotions are high. He's an emotional guy. He's an emotional player. But yeah, missing the penalty wouldn't have helped. But he really broke down though. Normally he misses, he
Yeah.
gets upset and he cracks on. But he really like, I think Paulini had to give him like a pep talk and really fucking like, Dallo had his arm around him like, it's okay. Paulini's like grabbing his shirt like, fucking fix up, motherfucker. Like, we got shit to do.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I,
What do
I
you think?
mean, like, if there's some personal thing that we don't know about, like, I obviously I'll feel bad about that, but like,
Yeah.
I love it. Like the guy, like, if you think about it, like this guy, like Ronaldo should not care about these Euros at all. Like he has accomplished everything.
Six,
Like I,
60
I
euro.
don't think I don't think that he's a goat in my opinion. Like I don't put him up there, but like a lot of people do, and it's a very defensible position to say Ronaldo's a goat. Like if you want to argue that, I'm not going to argue against you necessarily,
Right.
but he's accomplished everything he could accomplish with step around the national stage, and like he just cares so much. You know what I mean? It's just
That's why he's at the
hard
top.
not to love that.
Yeah, I mean, him, Tom Brady, LeBron James, like these guys, like it doesn't matter how much they win. They're like, as soon as the season's over, as soon as they won it, like the next day, fuck it, it's on to the next one. And they don't make them
Yeah.
like that. Like it's a special breed. That's why you see him once every 20 years. It's a
No,
crazy mentality.
you see so many players, and like I get it, I understand it. Who are just like, oh, this is a business. Like, I made my money. I did my stuff, all that type of stuff. I get why they have that attitude, but like as a fan, you don't really like that attitude in a player. So when you see people like Ronaldo, who after all that he's accomplished, still care, still love the game, still like just a fucking meaningless penalty in a game that like and by the way, like it kind of puts a different view on Saudi because Saudi is kind of seen as a little bit of a money grab, but
Oh,
like,
definitely. Yeah.
but like a little money grab plus he kind of wants to play at a high level. But after seeing this, like I kind of think like for me it's shifted. For me, it's I Saudi might be he just really wants to be playing at a top level in a competitive game, and he knows that he can't do that in Europe anymore. So he's just like, he wants to feel what he felt at Real Madrid again, basically. And so
Competitiveness. Yeah. I
it
feel
makes that even more defensible. Like this just been such a like if you don't like Ronaldo a lot more after this, I don't know what's wrong with you, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
unless you're a Barcelona fan, and then they might never like him, but
That's
um,
true, but I feel like you still have to give him his flowers, though.
oh
I
yeah,
still
yeah,
have
yeah.
to
You
give him
definitely, yeah, you
respect. You know what I
definitely
mean?
like. It's absolutely. There was a sign. I don't know if you saw it in the your lot's coverage, but in the UK, there was a fan with a sign that said, "I've supported you all my life, Cristiano, but not tonight," because he was a Slovenia fan. So it was
Uh,
like, I've supported you my whole life. I've loved you for 20 years, not
yeah,
tonight, man.
that's
Tonight,
fair.
which is fair. Yeah, you're like, all right, for 90 minutes, you're against him or for
Speaking of
100.
which, I didn't realize. I mean, obviously I knew, but like I didn't realize going to this game that Jan Oblak played for Slovenia, and like that's not fair. I don't think like Jan Oblak and Thibaut Courtois should not be allowed to play in international competition. In my opinion, it gives them an unfair advantage, like to have Jan Oblak behind goal. You know what I mean?
Everyone,
Like,
Jan Oblak's for me been top three, top four goalkeepers in the world for the last 5 years. But right now,
yeah,
everyone's talking about Diogo Costa, 3 and 3 in the penalty shootout, saved them all, and not just saved them. He actually jumped early, like before the spot kicks him taking. He's already kind of on the move. Didn't get
yeah,
off his line too much. Saved it, big hand on all of them. Saved three in a row. Like his stock has gone up a lot. I know he's been at Porto. United were linked with him last year when
yeah.
the he's going to make
But
a big move. Someone has to snap. Maybe Chelsea. I don't know who. Someone has to snap him up big time.
look,
His
I don't
stock.
want to shit on Costa, but like saving 3 out of 3 penalties against Slovenia is not,
Saving to be any saving a penalty shootout, but three. It's just the fact he did three on the bounce, and he just
that's
looks. It just
fair.
makes him. It's like mythical now. Like he just looks.
Yeah,
The next penalty shootout they're in. If there's another one they're in the tournament, I
yeah.
mean, even if they're up, I think they're up against France next. Obviously, Mbappe's Mbappe, but you know what? I give Costa a chance to save an Mbappe penalty or a Griezmann penalty now, just based off his
I mean, the thing about penalties also is you like you can save all but one, and be a hero, you
Yeah,
can not save all but one and be a hero.
yeah. You can
You know what I
say
mean?
the
So
one,
it's
yeah, yeah.
really how your own team performs. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not like I don't mean to shit on Costa. I'm just saying that like I think I think Jan Oblak had a great game. I think him and Thibaut Courtois are the two best. I think Donnarumma is a little bit overrated, if I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Allison and Edison still have to be up there as well. And it hurts me to say that because obviously it's City and Liverpool's keepers. But I mean, Allison's just a beast. Like
so
he's unbelievable.
here's my personal critique against Allison and Ederson is not a critique against them necessarily, but like similar to like center backs, similar to like attackers. I think there are two different types of keepers. There's your pure saving keeper, and then
Yep.
there's your keeper slash game manager. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like Allison and Ederson are a little bit more of your game manager type keepers, which like doesn't necessarily mean that they're worse at saving, but it kind of does. You know what I mean? Like usually, if you're better at one, you're a little bit worse
Yeah,
at,
there's a
at
trade-off. Usually there's a trade-off, but Allison, to be fair, he makes some big saves as well in games. He might let a few in, but there'll be moments where it's one-on-one, or he'll bounce off his face. Like he will make that save. That's what makes him clutch. Edison, I'd say Allison's the better shot stopper. Edison's better with the feet, but they're both good at both in that
oh,
sense. And
100%. I think they're both amazing. But like I
but
think
still stacked. Both of them being
personally,
positioned.
I prefer to have like a Jan Oblak because like
Yeah.
nothing's going through him. You know what I mean? Like it's not happening. Versus, I mean, like again, like it's depending on your style. Like if you're Pep, you'd rather have Ederson because the majority of the time he's not saving. The
Distribution.
majority of
Yeah.
the time
Yeah.
he's doing other stuff. So I understand why people do that, but for me, like there are two positions that I feel like you just need one thing from them. The goalkeeper, you need them to stop balls, and the striker, you need to put
So
balls. Like every other position, you
keep it
can
simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. You just
exactly,
keep it
exactly.
simple,
And
stupid. Yeah.
by the way, that was my critique with Nunez last year. Was people were like, "Oh, Nunez creates, he does all this stuff." I'm like, he doesn't put the ball in the net. that's his job. Like,
It'll be a big season now. Third season in the league, new manager, new setup, probably same tactics. Let's see how he does. It's big
yeah.
pressure on him this year now. Let's
By the way,
see.
so I know everybody is waiting for us to talk about it, so I think we should just get
Okay. Can I go
it
into
out
it?
of the way first.
All right.
England, Slovakia. What are your thoughts?
Fucking hell. Absolute bottle jobs. I don't care the fact that we got through. I was away for the weekend in France. I'm catching the Eurostar back and I've got it on my phone. First half, I watched it at a friend's house, and then I jumped on the train. I was at the train station watching on my phone. And said, just more of the same, backwards, sideways passing. I don't know what the tactics are. The players look confused. The
Yeah.
first good thing he did was he put Kobe Manu in, and it's like, all right, he should have really started the first two, the group games as well. Really, let's be honest. Like, I don't know why he had a bit of an okay game against Iceland, which they lost the last friendly before the tournament started. But then off one dodgy friendly where the reserve goalkeeper is kind of the idiot that made the mistake. Why are you punishing this young promising midfielder that's clearly needs to be in the team for the balance with him, Declan
Yeah.
Rice, and Bellingham? Didn't think it was going to happen. Honestly, I was shocked when Bellingham, like it was a long throw, and you're thinking, what are we going to do? And then Mark Gay flicked it on. Um,
Yeah.
Very happy, obviously, that we got through. But it's like we're playing Switzerland next, and again, these aren't like big teams, but I was watching what the Swiss did to Italy. Man, they cut them up differently. Like this team works their asses off. They're decisive. They're everything England aren't at the moment. Maybe not the work hard bit, but the decisiveness and just having a game plan. Teams like
And I
Switzerland, Austria, which are on our side of the bracket, can definitely beat the England team based on those four performances. So it's a little
by the
bit
way, so
concerning.
I realized I didn't send this to you. I gotta send this to you. I promise. I posted this before the Euros began. I promise, or
Yeah, yeah.
before the round of 16 began. Here I'll show this right here. It's a tweet as well. I'm 6 out of 6 so far for the round of 16.
Oh,
I
really?
I predicted every single one so far. I'm really proud about that. Even
So you
Switzerland, Italy.
Italy,
Yeah,
okay.
I
Yeah.
got that. So I have two thoughts about England. One that's gonna make you happy, one that's gonna make you kind of angry at me.
Oh, let's see.
Um,
Generally angry anyway, so I don't think there's anything you can say to so terrible
so
as it is.
the one that's making you happy is this. So when you came to SF in 2016, end of
14.
2015,
14.
14. You weren't
Yeah.
there before.
I was there for a year before I met you guys. I was a good
I'm talking about when
student.
you met me, is what I'm
Oh,
talking
when I
about.
met you, sorry. Okay, yeah, 15, 15, yeah, mid
Okay.
15, mid 15.
So I don't know if you remember the 2014 Warriors at all.
Not really.
So
I was really bandwagon then. Yeah, I was
so
really
in
bandwagon.
2014, the Warriors had this coach called named Mark Jackson. Okay. And so in basketball, for people who this stuff is called Footie Talks, I'm going to give it a little background in basketball. At the time, everyone kind of plays the same way now. Everyone kind of plays the basketball version of pep ball. But basically, there were two types of basketball. There was basically like pep ball and Mourinho ball in basketball. Pep ball was shoot a lot of threes, go very quickly, that type of play, right? And the Mourinho ball was basically a lot of big men posting up, layups, that type of ball, right? And so very defense
Sure.
first, right? And so the Warriors had a coach named Mark Jackson who preached defense first, and the Warriors sucked because
Right.
Steph and Clay together were making like 4 threes a game. And everyone was
Right.
watching the Warriors and was just like, what are you doing? This makes no sense. You have
Leading
Steph
to it.
with
Yeah.
Clay, have them shoot threes. And Mark Jackson, and by the way, Mark Jackson was really connected in the media. So the entire media was like protecting Mark Jackson. And so he got fired at the end of 2014. And everyone was angry at him. Like Stephen A. Smith called it racist. It was this huge hoopla. But then they brought in Steve Kerr. And do you know what Steve Kerr?
Yeah.
He made Steph Curry shoot threes. He made Klay Thompson shoot threes. He made Harrison Barnes shoot threes. And they went on one of the best runs of any basketball team of all time.
Yeah.
So my thought process is if you guys lose this,
Mm.
maybe Gareth Southgate is your Mark Jackson. And maybe you guys
It
bring in a
really
coach.
is. From what you've described, he's a media darling, even though the media is kind of turning on him now. He's
Yeah.
got the players, like you said, we have our version of Steph Curry's, our Clay Thompsons, who's, by the way, I heard he's leaving the Warriors now, which is sad, unfortunately. He's going to the
Yeah.
Mavs. Yeah, enough basketball talk, but I just thought I don't know, a little bit. I thought I'd drop that little nugget I heard from one of our friends
Yeah.
today. Um, if he'd lost yesterday, oh, he would have been fired today. Like it would have been done. You could see it on his face.
Yeah.
Bit of magic, bit of a long throw, flick on, and some Bellingham magic. And you know what? I haven't seen a more meteoric rise in a sport. Maybe MMA a little bit, but this guy has just gone from strength to strength to strength. Like what can't he do?
Yeah.
Wins the Champions League, goes to Real Madrid, wins the league, Champions League, scoring goals for fun, being that. And you know what funny is, no one noticed. He got in a bit of trouble because he gave like a little bit of like a gesture of like he's got big balls when he scored the
Yeah.
equalizer. Just say, yeah, we've got some balls here. We're going to keep going. UEFA actually have him putting an investigation on him, which is whatever. UEFA's UEFA. But when he scored and he did this little celebration, his usual like arms in the air celebration,
Yeah.
you could hear his mouth. Fucking who else?
Yeah.
I fucking love it. You know what? People are like, oh, you shouldn't be cocky, be humble. You know what? If you're backing it up, fuck it,
Yeah.
strut your crack
Although
on.
this actually leads me to my second point, which is
Right.
that teams. So Brantley, who was supposed to be on the pod today, has this thing he likes to talk about, which is teams that love to suffer. It's like an Italian thing in Italian football. Teams that love
Yeah.
to suffer, right? And this is why back 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, when Real Madrid beat Liverpool, I actually thought they were going to beat Liverpool back in the round of 16 because I was like, these guys just pull out wins out of their ass.
Yeah.
However, the thing is, the teams that pull out wins out of their ass at the time that they do it do not seem like teams that pull out wins out of their ass. They seem like a disjointed, dysfunctional team, and then they somehow win. Like I remember that year, no one like every single person I was talking to who was a Liverpool fan was saying, "Give us Madrid. We want Madrid. We do not want City. Give us Madrid." Right. So the thing that you might not like is there's maybe maybe like maybe
Yeah.
we'll look back on the Euros
This might
afterwards.
be a
Like,
this might be a watershed moment. The first, who gives a fuck about the group games if we won the whole fucking thing? Like, I mean, France haven't looked too good, but the thing is, France have pedigree. They have a history of turning up and winning tournaments. They're world champions a
cardiac
couple years ago.
kids.
Yeah,
You guys
so
cardiac kids. And by the way, like the thing about Southgate, and like people don't want to hear this, especially you, I'm sure. But like, yes, he doesn't put up goals, but he doesn't give up a lot of goals either. The defense first is working. Like it's working to like yes, obviously he gave him the goal against Italy, but like he was in the finals. Like he did get to the penalty shootout.
I don't know if it's so depending on the players we have. So back in 2018 with Maguire and sort of the flying wing backs, we had Trippier in top form, Danny Rose, Luke Shaw, these guys just bombing up and down the wings. A back three slash back five Gareth Southgate's untouchable. He doesn't lose games when he plays that system. Since he's
Yeah,
trying to go more attacking now, 4-4-3 or 4-3-3, sorry, or like four at the back and be a bit more attack minded.
yeah,
Maybe it's just not his style. Because when we reverted back to a back three and the extra time, we looked comfortable. Obviously, we'd scored the 2 goals, but
yeah,
as soon as Kane scored, I didn't even have to watch the game on my phone. I was like, we're not losing this now. Like, and
yeah.
I
Oh
actually
no,
really
no, no
felt
way.
like I was really pissed that he brought on Ivan Toney with a minute and a half to go. I was like, what the? If I was Ivan Toney, I would tell him to fuck himself. Like, you're a proper striker. All right, fair.
Yeah,
Maybe give him at least 5 minutes of the injury time. You're giving him a minute and a half, minute
yeah,
94. But then you know what happens? Eze tries to shoot after the corner, and Tony does his now legendary little head-on flick, and Kane is there to now it's genius.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
stupid and minute
And here's what
crazy.
spurred that about me is that had Jude Bellingham not scored that goal, and had you guys been out of the Euros, the entire narrative about Jude Bellingham would have been he's only had 2 shots on target all Euros. But now, who the fuck else? I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like the thing about sports is that like it
it,
really is written by the
yeah.
winner. It can change so dramatically. And but anyway, all this to say, I actually have England winning the Euros this year in my bracket.
I mean,
And
honestly, yeah. Go on. Sorry.
I think that the curse of Harry Kane is finally going to be broken. And
Oh, is it? Oh, now it's.
here's my theory why. Here's my theory why. Because curses require a sacrifice in order to break them, right? Like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
sacrificed he sacrificed Bayern Munich to
Oh,
the
I'd have to. I'll take
sacrifice.
that. I'll take that. Sacrifice FC Hollywood in Germany and get us a Euros. Yeah, shit. I
He was
would.
like, "Look, I'm going to destroy Bayern Munich, have them lose their first Bundesliga in 10 years, and
Sorry.
in return, I'm not even asking for a World Cup. I'm asking for a Euros. And I think the soccer gods are going to reward him. That's my
See,
prediction.
I mean, there was a massive. I mean, I was literally in the Eurostar station in France, and like there were loads of English people around me, and people couldn't get it on their phones. So I had like a bunch of people hovering over me, just watching the
Did
game.
you
And I
go
had
to the Euros?
no, I was just in France visiting. Remember Footie from the
Yeah,
Gev?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was visiting Footie for the weekend. I hadn't seen him in about 4 or 5 years. So I was in Lille, north of France. Great place,
I
lovely
actually have
town.
a funny story about Fuzi for you after we finish recording.
Yeah, no worries. We'll keep it off there. He's doing well. So it was good seeing him after all those years. So I watched the first half at his
Great guy.
place, and then second half I had it on my phone. And like the English people we were in the line for passport control, and there's a couple of English lads behind me just started like watching it because I'm
Yeah,
not going to share. I'm not going to hog him. Like, yeah, and we're just standing there, just three of us, just shouting at the phone, like "fucking move it, play it up, do something." So for
yeah,
me, it's a great story. Now I'm glad we won. I want the adventure to continue. But realistically, we have to take a look at ourselves. We cannot keep playing like this against teams like Switzerland. We have Austria, Netherlands in our bracket, even Romania. Like, we cannot. All right, we've pulled it out of our ass 4 times, 3 group games, and then like this game, we really pulled it out of our ass. Bellingham overhead kick, like it's fucking crazy. And also, I loved his response. They asked him, "Was this the best goal? How do you rate this goal in England's history?" He was like, "Ask me in 2 weeks if we win it." That's the fucking
exactly.
that's the fucking mentality you need. Don't celebrate now
Yeah,
because we get knocked out by Switzerland if we don't fucking pull it out, fucking sort our shit out. So he's saying, yeah,
yeah.
fucking judge me in 2 weeks. I love that fucking mentality. That's why it's not a fluke that he's getting the goals, the headlines. He's had a killer year. He works hard and he doesn't rest on his laurels. He's only fucking 21. It was his birthday on Saturday, the day before
Oh,
the game.
he's gonna be one of the best. I mean, he
Touch
already
wood.
is, but
Yeah.
he's gonna be
Yeah.
one of the best people in football. I think that Vinny is going sideways a little bit in my mind. Like he's just fighting with the fans a little
I
bit
think he
too
gets
much.
distracted. I think he gets
And it's just
distracted. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
also like I mean I know we already covered this and I don't want to get into the whole thing about it, but like I think he sent like a couple fans to prison for like 6 months or something, and it's
No
just
way.
like
Oh shit.
really like it's like anyway he's kind of always in that headspace, and then
Yeah.
Mbappe is obviously Mbappe, so I think Bellingham is gonna like really
He'll be the
emerge.
man. He'll be the man for
Yeah,
Madrid. I would love for him to get the captaincy. I would love to see an Englishman captain Real Madrid. That would be like not just like a one-off, because there's been players before that have captained one-off, like Steve McManaman back in the day, but like to real Beckham even, but like to be the actual
yeah.
club captain of Real Madrid would be
I was gonna
insane.
ask that if Beckham got like a marketing captaincy, basically.
I think it was every now and then they'd give him the armband, if especially if like Raul was off the pitch or something like that, because someone was off or one of the defenders. But to have Bellingham, I couldn't picture an Englishman captaining Madrid, but might be the guy. Like he's like literally like the general. He'll get them in line, and they love him already, and
Yeah,
long to continue. But going back to England, I think personally, and I wouldn't begrudge him at all. I would actually respect Southgate if he said, you know what, because Mark Gay's suspended now, so that's one centre back we're down already.
yeah.
I would bring in Ezri Konsa because he had a great season at Villa. He played under Unai Emery. They finished fourth. They're in the Champions League, and I actually would play him ahead of Mark Gay. Not that Gay's had a bad tournament. I respect it, but I think Konsa's a bit more stable on the board.
I mean,
Luke Shaw,
also, what's his name? Unai Emery is like a defensive. Like I would say he's probably one of the best defensive coaches.
he's a pragmatic coach, definitely. That's why they didn't like him at PSG. He was too pragmatic for them. They didn't like his style. They wanted more flamboyancy.
Yeah,
But I think if Southgate, like Trippier's injured, so there's two of the back four out now for the next game, definitely. You're bringing in Luke Shaw, which is obviously an upgrade because Trippier's not a left back. So we've got some balance in the back four.
I love
He
Luke
could
Shaw.
play a back four. Yeah, he could play a back four. Or you know what? If it's working for you, Gareth Southgate, and you got a good pedigree in the past, fuck it, play 3-5 at the back. I couldn't care less. As long as we win with a good performance, because Switzerland will fuck us up. If we do not get our shit together, they're turning up to play next Saturday.
What do you think
We
it's
have to
going to
play
be?
that
A 5-2-3 or a 3-4-3?
I think it'll be a 5-3-2. I'd put Tony and Kane up top.
And who do you have in the middle? Bellingham,
Bellingham,
Rice.
Rice, Mainu. Bellingham, Rice, Mainu. Have flying wing backs. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Play Trent and Shaw, and have Walker. Who did I say? Ezri Konsa, and
Yeah,
maybe even Lewis Dunk, because he's like a bit like Maguire, a bit of a presence. I don't really trust Lewis Dunk. I think he's got a mistake or two in him. But you know what? Have maybe the bootleg Harry Maguire, so you're Lewis Dunk in there. Maybe go back to the 2018 team, the 3-5
what
at the
about
back,
like
flying wing
I, I
backs.
I know I'm kind of nitpicky here, but what about like a five? What about like a 3-5-2, where you have three in the back, two defensive mids, Bellingham as an attacking mid, um, Kane and Tony, and then you have the
So,
basically play the two wing backs up, and you're playing
yeah.
the two defensive mids back in a proper defensive mid position
So
instead of
I think
kind of floating.
either or, I think it'll be one of those situations in the game, depending on whether we're attacking or defending. That's how the formations will look. So I think in
Yeah,
defense, it'll be what I described with the back five, and
yeah,
everyone's sort of deep. But I think when we have the ball, the wing backs have to be up. So let's say it turns from a 5 to a 3. And even the
yeah.
CDMs, like if you want maybe Kobe Mainoo to go up a bit more, be a bit more creative, I would actually put Declan Rice a bit higher because I think Kobe Mainoo in the number 6, not that he's crazy defensive, but on the half turn, he can pick that pass quicker than Declan, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think
So the
in
transition
my
will be
mind,
quick.
the big difference between those two positions where the wing backs and where the mids play. Like
Right.
in a 5-3-2, when you're attacking, the wing backs kind of play in half position,
Yeah.
and the mids kind of play more up, and then so the wing backs kind of play like not where the wingers play, but like
Just a
10
little bit.
meters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
While in like a 3-5-2, the wingers play basically as the wingers, and
Yeah.
then the two mids kind of play like in a 4-2-3-1. They basically play like the Kimmich Goretzka
Oh,
role. I mean, we're kind of nitpicking here, but I do agree that it would be good.
I think for him, it
That's
would
my
suit
favorite
him.
formations.
Yeah.
I
I think
love that formation.
I think with Switzerland, because they're also kind of going to go for something similar, I think it would be a good way. If we play a back four and this nonsense of passing backwards,
Yeah,
the Swiss are going to keep us. They're not even going to be in their half, let alone in the box, anywhere near their box. Kane's going to be playing CDM the way they're going to push us back. It's going to be terrible.
yeah.
Okay, go
I mean,
back
he was
three.
playing CDM in that game. Like
He was deep, man. He was deep. He was deep. And thing is, sometimes when Kane comes deep, I've seen him when he was at Spurs. He can pick a great pass. Like he can cross it, he can switch play nicely. But again, he's carrying that back injury. I don't think he's at 100%. And I think
Well,
him and
that's why.
Tony up top will disturb the Swiss defense and put Tony, even him and Ollie Watkins, even. Ollie Watkins presses hard. He played in that Villa team, it was hard pressing. He had the most assists in the Premier League last season, in
So
this season gone. So there's talent there. So just have someone alongside Kane. If he can't hold it up on his own, help him. Give him
so
someone.
So Pep, that's why Pep wanted him as a 10, because he saw how he went back, and he obviously didn't want to do that. I actually think that Ollie Watkins might be a better, kind of like sub. There's some Italian term for that striker. Again, I wish Bradley was here. He speaks Italian football all the time. But so I actually have a piece of football history trivia for you to ask. I think this might be one of the few historical trivias that you don't know that I do. So
Maybe. Shoot.
the 3-5-2,
Yeah.
what coach invented it in what year for what team? Do you know?
Is it Italian? That's my only question. Let me give me a guess. Is it Italian?
I'll tell you this: his name sounds Italian, but he's not Italian.
So it's not Saki. It's not Arrigo Saki. Nah, couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you that one.
Bayardo for the 1986 Argentinian team.
I never would have. The World Cup winning one, I'm guessing. So yeah, I never would have. I never would have got that.
So that's why he said Ollie Watkins, because you need someone to play kind of that Maradona role. Like obviously he's not gonna be Maradona, right? But you need like a more mobile striker who kind of moves around.
Oh yeah,
Like
very active.
Lautaro Martinez type of
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, very active.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you're going to play, so again, in this ideal formation, if you're going to play that three at the back, so Carl Walker be your right centre back, and then whatever. So you're going to play Trent wing back, so you can be up and down, not too defensive oriented.
Yeah.
You need someone like Watkins. If Trent's got the ball here, Watkins will make those darting runs like the Liverpool attackers do, and he will find him. That's what Foden's doing. That's why Cole Palmer should play as well, in my opinion. I love Foden.
I actually think Foden might be good in that striker role there, because you need someone who can create also. Like you need someone, because I like the way that Phil Foden plays. I always think of him as like, have you ever seen a dog running downstairs?
Oh yeah, it happens in my house all the time. Yeah.
Like they don't really run down the stairs. They just kind of like crash. They kind of like tumble and like fall over themselves. Like that's how I see Phil Foden on a pitch. He just kind of like crashes into the offense. He somehow still has the ball, and like in that situation, he either shoots or he passes it to Kane. And I think you kind of want him there in that position where he can just create havoc. You know what I mean?
You know what? Even if he doesn't play Tony or Watkins, fuck it, put Foden next to Kane. Put Foden, because I think he's wasted on the wide. Even though he can play wide left or wide right, whatever. I think he's had a long season at City. Let's play to our strengths. If he doesn't have the legs for it, play him in the middle. Let him cause that chaos. You're saying him and Bellingham, the one-touch link up that they could do, him and Mainu, the two fucking Manchester lads. Why not let them, the two Stockport lads, give them a chance?
I will say one thing about the Slovakia game. I don't know if it was you. It might have been you a little bit. But this was going on in my group chat consistently. People were talking about like the substitutions and stuff, and people were like, I remember Pierce Morgan tweeted about this. He was like, "Well, you make some substitutions." I just say like, look, we criticize Southgate a lot. I agree with most criticisms of Southgate, but I don't think substitutions was England's problem in that game, because like literally every player on England is better than every player on Slovakia, except for maybe Milan Skriniar. It's not like that wasn't like a Pep Guardiola tactic game. That was like a mentality game. You guys just had the wrong mentality. Like you guys just didn't show up to play. Like there was no tactics that you needed to do. You know what I mean? Like
I think, yeah, I think the substitution argument's been going on for about 3 or 4 years. I think it's happened in previous tournaments, the previous Euros, it's like he freezes, like, all right, 65th minute, if it's not working, you got to give the guys at least a good 15, 20 minutes to really, you got to give them 5 minutes to get into the rhythm of the game, first of all. And then if a chance comes, if you're bringing, like, let's say, okay, it worked out really well. If we had lost and you brought on Ivan Toney in the 94th minute, God, it would have been brutal. Like, it would have been like, what the fuck was the point? At least bring him on in the 90th minute. Give the poor guy 5 minutes at least. They're giving him 90 seconds to fucking do what? He might not even touch the ball in 90 seconds.
That's what he did with Rashford in the Italy game.
Yeah, that's
like,
nothing.
Rashford, Sancho at the end of the game. It's just like
players that were cold and like we had to take penalties straight away. Not that I'm making excuses; those idiots should have scored, but that's what it is.
You need like 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, to get into the pace of the game, it's a lot.
And like you barely touch the ball in football. Like you can easily go 10 minutes without touching the ball. This isn't basketball. Like you need 10 minutes just to be able to
if you're a defensive player like a CDM or a defender,
Yeah,
fuck it, you can bring them on with 90 seconds on, just see out the
that's
game.
true.
But an
Yeah.
attacker needs to warm up and get the feel of the rhythm of the game, get a few passes, a few touches going. What the fuck was he going to do in 90 seconds? Like Tony should have like livid if they lost. And to
Yeah,
fair to Southgate, credit to him in the interview, he said afterwards, Tony was obviously disgusted with me, but hopefully he's forgiven me now because it worked out for us. So, all right, you got
yeah.
away with it. Just don't fucking repeat it again. You know what I mean? Like, let's learn from some of these fucking abysmal performances we've had.
From
So,
time to time.
so play the three at the back, play the five. It's not my favorite, but if we're playing better and we pull it off, no one's gonna ask afterwards how we won it. As long as we won it, fuck it.
So Switzerland played Italy. I actually didn't watch the game. So I kind of have a thought of what happened. So why don't we do this? I'll say what I think happened, and then you tell me if I was right or wrong.
Sure.
Um, so Italy didn't have the guns. They're a transition year. They don't have Chiellini. They don't really have offensive talent. And Switzerland just came and just beat them up the same way that they beat up Germany. And they just manhandled them. They cut them up. And Italy just didn't have the horses this year. It's a transition year. They were kind of hoping to maybe win one knockout game, but they got a bad draw. Is that accurate?
I would say 50-50, 100%, 50% accurate with the sense that they came and they got beaten. I think it was
Yeah,
more a case of just didn't have the legs, man. Like that second Swiss goal, you could see it coming with the way they were transitioning. The guys just didn't follow the run. So he had a free run in, and then obviously Vargas, it was a crazy finish, but
yeah,
what you can do. And even the first goal, you're just not following the runners when they're running through on goal. It's just, I think it's just a matter of, like you said, a lack of quality. Definitely a transition year. You're 100% right. There's no real attacking. There's no main Italian striker, no crazy good Italian defender. I like Bastoni, but I would say, yeah, you're definitely right in that sense in terms of talent, but they just got outworked. Switzerland just workhorses. They just run to the ground. Them and Austria,
yeah.
absolute workhorses. There'll be a
They just
problem for
care
any.
more. They just seem to care more this year, which is
Yeah,
good. It's good football. All right, so we have. I'm just looking at the games, and it's nice because I predicted them all correctly, so I have a correct bracket here. So Spain, Georgia, no real surprises. They
Jesus, they
just
played so well though. Some of those goals were fucking ridiculous.
yeah.
Like
So
Rodri does, and then the Williams goal was brilliant. They're the informed. Them and Germany. The fact that they have to play Germany next is just crazy. That could have been easily been the final. Probably the
I
final.
was just gonna ask you, like, it doesn't seem like either of those games we have that much to cover. So who do you think is gonna win between Spain and Germany? What's your prediction?
Shit. Spain. No,
Spain?
no, no. I'm gonna say Germany. I'm gonna say the Germans are gonna win it. They're hosting it. I think the Germans. Spain are that informed team that might just go out early because they were unlucky. They came up against another great, crazy team. Germany wins.
I think Germany too. My big knock on Spain, I think, is so I'm in this prediction challenge right now where we like predict games and we also have to predict like who's gonna score first. And I remember every
Sure.
single game with Spain, I look at the score, I'm like, okay, it's be 4-1 or 3-1 or something. And then I look at the lineup and I'm like, who's gonna score first? And I have no idea. Like I look at about like they're kind of devoid of stars. I think. Like I think that Spain is going to be a really good team that's going to win a lot of international competitions. Probably going to win a World Cup. Probably going to win Euros. I would not be surprised in the slightest if they even maybe won two World Cups. But like they're starting Murata as a striker.
Yeah,
Like
he's the potent. Yeah, but then
you're
for
not
me,
winning with Murata as a striker, in my opinion.
they
Juventus
would be.
found that out the hard way. Like,
Yeah, in a way because they lack the striker. Their midfielders popping up with goals. Their wingers. Like I'm really hoping Lamine Yamal gets a goal. Young 16-year-old at the Euros, youngest player at the Euros. I really hope he gets a goal before they get knocked out or if they win whatever. Like I really
look,
hope he's.
I love Yamal. I'm just saying, and I think Yamal is going to be a star. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I don't think he's a star yet. Like,
I think
so
I think their number 10, Danny Olmo, chips in with a lot of goals. I've seen him play in Europe as well for Leipzig. He's a dangerous player. He runs
I
in
do
late.
like Daniel Olmo.
Danny Olmo gets goals. Williams is one player. He's just he seems to love this tournament because he's been at Bilbao for a while. He's always had crazy pace, but now he's added a good amount of finishing on him. Like Williams is a big threat for them. Um, and again, it just maybe not really the defenders too much. Rodri, he can chip in with a goal every now and then from the edge of the box. But yeah, I would say more Williams and Olmo are the two. I would say that I'd probably chip in. And then even
Yeah, but
actually, no,
like,
sorry, Fabian Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz has gone underrated in this tournament as well. He scored a few important goals, quick, tidy feet. So I think their midfielders can get them through, but like you said, they lack that out and out potent striker goal scorer, which a lot of the European teams do right now. I was talking to a few friends the other day. I was like, where are like the big strikers? Where's like the obviously we lost Lewandowski to Poland early, but where's the Zlatans? Where's like the big every Euros or
Holland,
every World Cup? There's a few, especially the Euros. There's always a few big strikers. Miroslav Klose back in the day, Podolski.
yeah.
What are these like potent strikers? Every two per team gone. Harry Kane, is that who we're going to talk about now? Like
Yeah. Well, the
Italy,
problem is that
Saka, really?
For some reason Holland just can't get Norway to play well.
Yeah,
Like,
if he'd been there, would
and,
have been. I would have loved to have seen him in the
and he
Euros.
has, I can't remember blanking on the name. Who's the attacking mid for Arsenal?
Odegaard,
Yeah, he has Odegaard. How
yeah.
do he get Odegaard back? The rest of the team must be shit. Like,
Norway, no, Norway has some good, tidy players. I think they might have just had a tough group. I didn't really pay too much attention to their qualifying group, but selfishly
so
as a United fan, I'd want Haaland at the tournament just so he's not fully rested in the summer for
yeah, I
shit.
mean,
Like you want players play.
so that's an interesting conversation. I want to get that to 1 second. Get to that in 1 second. I want to button up Spain. So, like, let's say I were to tell you before the Euros, and let's say you didn't know who these people were, right? But if I were to tell you a team that had as their left winger a 21-year-old from Athletic Bilbao, their striker a 26-year-old from RB Leipzig, and their right winger a 16-year-old at Barcelona, and that team was going to win the Euros. Like, you just be kind of like that doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a winning team to me.
Not yet, not yet. Maybe in a couple of years, not yet. Like that doesn't
That's
seem like.
exactly what I'm saying. I think Yamal is going to be a top winger. Obviously, like Barcelona, their entire youth program, like they are in a transition phase. In 4 years, Barcelona is going to be very scary. They have Gavi, they have Pedri, they have Yamal, they have like 10 other players. Giu, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He scored on his feet. Giu.
The striker, he just signed
Yeah.
for Chelsea. 5-year deal. He just signed for Chelsea.
Wait,
Today's
really?
today's been a crazy day in the
16-year-old?
transfer. Yeah, but Chelsea got him on a 5-year deal from Barca today. Mark Gay, I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah, something like that. Mark Gay, I don't know how to pronounce the surname, but
Did they? Was it a
it's
free
done.
transfer?
No, they paid, but it's done. Like I don't know if it was, I don't know what the price was, but it got announced today around lunchtime here.
Hopefully, it
Yeah.
was like 80 million.
Oh no, nothing crazy like that. I don't think it was anything
Uh,
crazy like that. But,
they should have kept
today's been a crazy day. Like even for United, like we've done some crazy moves at boardroom level. Like it's been a very
I,
busy day.
so my Twitter, because I also follow F1, my Twitter has been filled with F1 today. So I haven't seen any soccer news. So you have to inform me on
Yeah.
that in a second. But I'm just saying that like Yamal. Anyway, my point is I think Spain is be fantastic, but they just don't have the guns right now, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
Germany is kind of the opposite problem, where like Germany is wait a second. Um Sorry, I just got like one of my clients just messaged me. I hate when people ask you like, have you said like you said this thing to me, or like I said it to you 3 times. But so Germany has the complete opposite problem as Spain has when you're looking at who's going to score, because it's Kai Havertz who's completely reinvented himself. You have Musiala, you have
Oh,
Sane, you have Florian Wirtz, you
Amazon.
have I'm just looking down the list. Thomas Muller, who like I know he's old, but like he's
He can chip
still
in.
he's
He
still
gets the goals.
popping.
Yeah, he'll be around. He'll
Yeah,
be in dangerous.
and then on top of that, you have Fulkrug. Is that
Yeah,
your pronunciation?
yeah,
So
great, solid finisher. Yeah, so the firepower there is crazy. The balance in the team, and it's just the pace, the scary pace of Musiala. That second goal against Denmark, where they just hoofed it on the left hand side. He
yeah,
ran through one touch, opened his body up, finish. This is Musiala's tournament. It's either Musiala or Bellingham for me. I hope they both meet in the final, and that would be crazy.
yeah. No, I love Musiala. And again, like we're talking about Musiala being on England, but I think that having both of them on the team wouldn't really work because
Southgate
like
wouldn't have used him anyway. It would have been a waste. He might not have even
yeah, exactly.
brought him to the
And
tournament to
then
have him on the sidelines.
you also have Tony Cruz as well, who's just carving
Yeah.
up the entire
And it's
team.
his swan song as well, so it'd be a great story
I
at
I
home in
actually have a
Germany.
question about that because we were arguing about this. Like, do you
Yeah.
think that um let's say Germany wins. Do you think that Tony Cruz should get Ballon d'Or?
Champions League with Madrid. You know what? If Modric got it a couple years ago, fuck it, why not? Give it to him. Fucking A. And it would be nice for the both of them as midfield partners at Madrid to get it. And
Yeah,
Madrid have to kind of pull in with UEFA where they can, it's one of their players. Fuck it. It should be between. I mean, Bellingham's already kind of etched his name a bit after the goal yesterday. And if we go far, if we end up winning it, that it should
yeah.
really be Bellingham. I'm sure Vinny's doing well at the Copa America. I haven't paid attention, but for me, I would love to see Tony Cruz
It
win
would
the
kind
Ballon
of be
as a
so.
whole.
The only reason why I'd be against it is it would be kind of a legacy thing. And like I hated the Messi Ballon d'Or last year. I think Holland should have won it.
Yeah,
Like I think
I
it was
agree.
clear
Right.
that Holland should have won it. Like it's ridiculous that Holland didn't win it. He literally got a treble
It's
and broke. What else do
it's
you want from him?
historically though, it's always been shitty like this because the fact that Lewandowski didn't win it, that was because of the COVID year. Fuck it, he
Yeah,
still scored super number of goals in the Champions League. I think he won the treble with Bayern as well. So that's two
yeah,
treble winners in like three,
yeah,
4 years. Haven't won the Ballon d'Or. One because of COVID, we were not doing it this year. Stupid. And the
yeah.
second because Messi won the World Cup. The fact that Thierry Henry, even though he never won the Champions League with Arsenal, them years at Arsenal between like 2002 and 2006, he was the best striker in Europe, bar none.
Yeah,
Fuck everyone else. I don't care. He was the guy, striker wise. Ronaldinho was around. There were players around Kaká, but striker wise, he was the best. He was scoring the most goals. The fact they never won a Ballon d'Or is fucking criminal. This is a World Cup winner and a Euros winner with France. Criminal.
yeah.
So they have a history of this. Sometimes I think they do it just to piss the fans off, so we talk about it, have it political. But the Ballon d'Or race is a joke, honestly. Sometimes why aren't defenders nominated? If there's why is Virgil van Dijk not ever won one?
He was third one year.
Which is insane because he was solid that year as well. It's like you can't just if it's all about attackers and scoring goals and winning. Why the fuck did Haaland not win it last year? Because
Exactly.
Messi won the World Cup finally. Okay,
But I will say this that like, and by the way, like we don't have to litigate the World Cup, but like that wasn't really a resounding Messi World Cup, in my
yeah,
opinion.
I would
Like,
say he wasn't like the top scorer. Like he dragged them through there, but like
yeah,
it's usually up at maybe in the mid up until the mid 2000s or even the tens. It usually used to be the winner of the Champions League, the winning team of the Champions League, and usually the top scorer in the Champions League won the Ballon d'Or
it should
that
be.
year.
That's how it should
That
be.
year.
Yeah,
So Ronaldo was winning it at United, and then when Messi started winning it at Barca, Kaká won it at AC Milan. It was usually followed a Champions League win and then a Ballon d'Or afterwards. Like that's usually how it went, unless someone did something absolutely crazy.
yeah,
So now it's political. It's always Messi or Ronaldo. Then Modric got it one year all of a sudden.
yeah,
So on that aspect, and just because I like the fairy tales. If Tony Cruz wins the Euros, I'd love to see him do it.
yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, Real Madrid won Champions League,
Bellingham.
Vinicius up there, Bellingham. I
Yeah.
mean, what a fucking year. What else has he got to do now? If he wins the Ballon d'Or, wins the Euros, Champions League in his first season at Madrid and the league.
It's a little unfair to Vinny, I think, but like if Germany or England win, I think it's one of those two. I mean,
Yeah,
Tony Cruz has been putting on a clinic. Like
yeah.
it's been
But
insane.
decade,
Like
yeah. It's just
especially that first game was just outstanding.
oh yeah, you
Like
mean the Euros? Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the Euros,
yeah,
yeah. It's like when Zidane, his last World Cup, even though it ended in however it ended with him headbutting the guy. But if you
yeah,
watch Zidane's play throughout the tournament, every pass, every little flick and trick, the Panenka penalty in the final
yeah,
when it came off the crossbar. This is World Cup final. He's taking a penalty like that. He didn't give a fuck. He could have carried on playing for 5 years. He was just taking the piss out of people. The
yeah.
quarterfinal against Spain, he took the piss.
By the
So
way, one
Cruz,
thing that I do
yeah.
want us to do if this channel ever gets big is I want us to have a segment once a week where we just watch old games. And we should
Okay.
we just watch famous games and just it's be 90 minutes just live commentary. Maybe with an ex-footballer, who knows? But that'd be so much fun if you
The
start to
two
spend
that
some.
would probably be the most difficult would be the 2009 and 2011 finals. That would be hard for me just because obviously my team got battered by
Yeah.
Barcelona. Other than that, super easy, no problem. Those would be two. It's painful to watch.
So we think damn it, stop messaging me. Sorry. um, anyway, so we think Germany. So
Yeah.
Portugal, I know you don't rate Portugal,
Yeah.
but do
I want to
you
ask you about this. What did you think of the game? I'm
the
very curious.
what?
What did you think of the game now? It went to penalties. What did you think? I was very curious about your thoughts on Portugal and their tactics.
I look, I was gonna ask you the same thing. Like, if you didn't hate the coach so much, like
I actually thought they played well today. I'm not even going to shit on them. I thought the tactics
Did,
first
right?
half, I think they went for it. They were attacking. They were just unlucky. It was just last half an inch off. Like they were incisive. This, I'll put my hands up. This was a good game. They were just unlucky
Yeah.
not to. They could have had a few. But then this is again where my critique comes in now. Game management. Pepe is literally on the floor towards the end of the game. Why are you waiting so long to sub him? And then he makes that unlucky to make that mistake, lose the ball. And if Benjamin Sesko is a little bit more clinical, we might be talking about another Martinez golden generation being dumped out early here in a
And if you
different
do
team.
that,
So
and if you do that against a good team, like they're scoring that 10 out of 10 times. Unless,
Pepe was
unless
literally
obviously,
waving them down. He was just, and those commentators saying like Pepe's like he's on his feet, he's done. Like get him off the pitch. They waited
yeah,
so long to get the subs in, and then the board or something went a bit glitchy, so it took another 2 minutes, and that's when the mistake happened.
yeah,
So it's fine margins. You got away with it, but Martinez, a bit like Southgate. Where is the game management? Fix the
yeah.
simple stuff. It's a fucking
Uh,
40-year-old pensioner. Get him off the pitch. It's
unless, yeah, I mean, like, I agree. Like, obviously, they should have played a lot better against Slovenia today.
really a
You
tough
know,
outfit. They were in England's group. They were tough. These teams, Slovakia, Slovenia, they've what we've learned in the Euros this year is the quality in general around Europe, the style of play, and this is what I really wanted to bring up. The 4-4-2 is back. The
yeah.
4-4-2 formation is fucking back because defensively, Slovakia yesterday were hard to break down, and you can say anything about England's tactics. Even today, Portugal played well, and they were still hard to break down Slovenia. The 4-4-2 is making a comeback. Watch in the next couple of years, more and more quote unquote smaller teams will start adopting it defensively to get away with some
I was
results or
actually thinking
stifle
about
teams.
this because we've talked a lot about how on the club level, it's all pep ball, right? I mean, obviously, like, I'm being very reductive, but like, it's all possession, that type of stuff, right? We
Yeah,
can call it Cruyff ball, we can call it whatever, right? Um, on the Euros, it's been very defensive. It's been a
yeah,
lot of defensive games. I mean, besides Spain, besides Germany, like, Gareth Southgate is not the aberration here for playing a lot of defensive stuff. And if you think about the way that Italian teams play, Italian teams are
France.
very defensive. They also play a lot of 4-4-2s in Italy. Like it could be just an Italian thing that, like, on the club level, it's all England and Spain ball, but on the international level, it's all Italian ball. And I like the 4-4-2. It's a very basic formation, but it's one of those formations that because it's so basic, you
It's
kind
nice
of
and rigid.
have to really understand your gameplay in order to play it well. Especially the two central midfielders. Those
Yeah,
two guys are exhausted. Like,
strict rule,
yeah, I hate to keep
strict.
on bringing up FIFA, but like when you play the I one thing I like to do, I'm pretty sure you've done this before, is start out as a really terrible club in like League Two and then
And
work your
then
way up. Have you ever done
yeah,
that before?
yeah.
Um, I've done that, and I'll usually play the 4-4-2 when it's like at the lower level. By the way, just a quick tangent. One of the things I'm most proud of in my FIFA career is I played as a League Two team, and I decided to only recruit American players. So my
Oh
entire team was Americans, and so I got an entire American team to 99 because I don't sim games. I just play. I play every game. I'm there to play. And we won the treble and the World Cup for America one year. So you're welcome.
shit.
You're
There
welcome.
you go.
It's
It's a new
very
Ted
by the way,
Lasso. Make him coach. Make him
it's
coach.
very difficult. It's very difficult to get a team up because you with just one country. Because if you think about it, you get recruits from three countries. I only got recruits from one country. Sorry, that's a quick diversion. But I
I
love
actually,
FIFA.
I don't know if I spoke with you about this or it's probably with Fuzi and the other guys over the weekend. I had this theory, like obviously we were having drinks on the Friday and it just popped into my head as I was thinking about it. The way football's going, it's so expansive now. I think club football compared to international should be broken up. I think so. You know, your older managers, your Arsene Wenger's, your Jose Mourinho's, that aren't obviously Wenger's retired, but your Jose's and your other kind of coaches that have kind of been cycled out of the tactical game in the last 5 years, like Pep and Klopp have taken over. I think they should all move to international and play their systems there, where it's a bit more slower and a bit more tactical. And you know
Yeah,
what I mean? We enjoy watching a solid Jose team in international level. You don't mind the 4-4-2 like we were watching with Slovenia, Slovakia, etc. And the young, innovative coaches like so for me, Nagelsmann is kind of the opposite. I would have a Julian Nagelsmann at club level with the innovators, with the Eric Ten Hags, with the Klopps, with the Guardiolas, with the Mikel Artetas. And I
Yeah.
would have like, even though Ancelotti's killing it at Madrid, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking, but like if Ancelotti ever was to like lose his touch, the Ancelottis, the Mourinhos, the sort of older guard in the internationals thing, and you know what I mean, just
Yeah.
have that sort of breakdown and just let the new innovative coaches take handle club football and
I
see how it
I
works.
I do agree with that because like the big reason why football is moving towards Peps is not like I do think that a possession based football over the course of a season you're going to win more games than a defensive minded coach because
Yeah,
if you're playing for 1-0, if one player makes a mistake, you're each
yeah.
1-1, right? Versus if you're playing for 6-3, if you make one mistake, you win 6-4, right? So like it is better, but like I do think the reason why teams invest in that style is because eyeballs. They want people to watch, right? And like most casual fans would much rather watch a Real Madrid than like an Aston Villa. You know what I mean? Like putting this. I'm just talking about in terms of play style, right? So I agree that like on an international level, you have the baked in eyeballs that you can play a more defensive style and you're not going to get punished for it. One thing I will push back on, and I know you didn't mean it this way, but like people view a Pep style as more innovative than a Jose Mourinho style. I disagree. I just think that like it's actually in a weird way more tactical because it really is like it's less like, oh, we're gonna put this guy here. It's more of like, how are you gonna move and function within the defensive
When
lineup?
yeah, no, you're 100% right. When I meant innovation, I meant like, remember when I mentioned a couple episodes ago, it was like football works in cycles. So right now, Pep ball's popular, like it was back under Cruyff in the 70s and 80s. If you give it
Yeah,
another 5, 7 years, the defensive side might, the 4-4-2 might come back like it's coming up in international football. So I'm just saying, the cycles, it's more cyclical in club level. So in the
yeah,
younger manager coming and implement, Thiago Motta will be a perfect example now. I think he's at Juve. I'm looking forward to seeing how he fucking plays that team because he kind of looks at it, doesn't look at it like this way. He looks at it more like this way in terms of
yeah.
his formation. It's really strange, but his Bologna team plays some of the best football. So these young coaches that are like
And
innovating
Bologna got
existing
a
ideas.
fourth. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
they smashed it. So I think instead of saying innovating, let's say putting their own twist on existing systems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Innovating existing
No, no,
systems and putting a stamp on it.
I'm not critiquing you for using the word innovative because that's how everyone views it. But I just wanted to like say for people listening, like I don't think like people call it more innovative, and I understand why they call it that because it is like the crazy tactician. But I do think that like Mourinho can be as innovative as Pep. It's just not as
Yeah, yeah.
flashy
But
because it's not
I
as
think
like crazy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
and it's more forgiving at international level. They'll put up with it more internet, not put up, but like they'll appreciate it more international level as opposed to the club level where it's like, oh, this is the new, this is the next flavor. This is like the style we want for the next 5, 7 years. If you're not playing it, you're outdated, even though you're not. So I think with
yeah,
international football, people like Jose, who's still a top draw manager. I don't care what anyone says. I know he's in Turkey. I hope he kills it with Fenerbahce. I'm looking forward to seeing that. He would get the love he deserves. He would get the flowers he deserves managing a Portugal or an international team where they set solid and they can nick a result or they can even still play well and win 2-3-0. But it's a lot more patient with the style as opposed to like,
him going to Portugal would actually be like a nice fairy tale ending to his
do
career.
you
I
know
think.
he was offered the England job more than once. He actually turned
Really?
it down. He was offered the England job more than
That's
once.
that's weird. Is
He's
it
come out
because
and
of
said it
Portugal?
recently. Not because of Portugal. I just don't think it was the right time for him. I think he loves, or in his words, I'm acting like I know him, but like based off
Yeah.
his interviews, he loves the day to day. You know what I mean? I think international football is just not enough touch points. You only see the players every couple months in the season. He
Yeah.
likes the day to day running. He's still too active. Hopefully, I think a fairy tale ending to his career once he's done with club football. He's a bit older. Definitely managing Portugal. That'd be a dream for him. And we'd love to see that.
So I'm looking at this team right now, and like it looks like a pretty good Pep team. Sorry, pretty good Mourinho team actually, because he has Pepe and Diaz. They're pretty solid center backs. Cancelo, I mean, Cancelo is, people talk about his speed a lot, but he's a really solid defender.
Very technical as well.
Um,
Yeah.
Mendez as well.
Brilliant play.
Um,
Mendes had a great game today. He got kicked they kicked the shit out of him today in that game. They kept fouling him, so he did well. He stayed in it. Good
yeah.
on him. I
And
like
then
seeing.
like once Ronaldo retires, Rafael Leao is a really good
So
Pep
good. Yeah,
striker
yeah.
because you just literally you're just like, look, just kick the ball really hard, and Leao's gonna get it at least one time,
They
right?
have a great base. They have obviously they've got Ruben Diaz at the back as well. They've got sorry, looking at midfield now. They've got Bernardo Silva who's still at a good age, Bruno Fernandes, um, God, even Ruben Neves off the bench. I know he plays at Saudi, but he's only like 28, 29. Ruben Neves is a very good technical, solid player. He's one I'm very surprised went to Saudi. I know he's making a good buck. Good on him, but I was
The
a little bit
problem with
disappointed he
him
left.
and this team is that he's a midfielder. I see
Yeah,
that they got subbed in for Pepe, and like that
yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me. Like
Well,
he's a mid,
but that
if
was
anything,
literally
he's an attacking midfielder, right?
he's box to box. He's more defensive. He's box to box, but because he played at Wolves for a number of years.
Yeah.
Uh, the thing with
I
him,
remember
the
him
thing
at Wolves. Like
yeah, yeah.
he was like he scored
That was
goals.
because Martinez left it so late. There was only like 3 minutes left. He was bringing him on for the penalties. Pepe had to
Oh,
go off.
okay, that makes
It was
sense.
just
Yeah.
Semedo came on for was it Cancelo? Semedo came on for one of the fullbacks. So they were like shifting almost to maybe a back three and having him sit a little bit deep, having the two holding mids. But it was only
Yeah.
literally for like 3 minutes. Then they was going to go to penalties anyway. So
That
I
makes
just
sense.
thought,
I was finishing up a project during the game, so there's some parts of it I was just listening. Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, no, I mean, I think Portugal played well. I don't like for me, um, I just see Germany as the powerhouse. Like I see Portugal beating France. Um, but like,
really? Yeah, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, like here's the thing. I and I'm guilty of this as much as everyone else. But like let's actually look at France's lineup, okay?
Yep.
So we have Thuram as the striker, Mbappe and Griezmann, right? Mbappe
Yep.
is obviously top of the world. I'm not gonna like knock Mbappe at all. But Thuram and Griezmann, like, are they really like the best? Is this really the best front three in football right now?
Griezmann, Griezmann for France is a different animal altogether. There's something about there's some players that put on the international shirt and they raise their game to a different level. The way he controls it, whether he'll come back and defend as well. Like Griezmann for France is almost undroppable, which is crazy because he hasn't had a crazy good club career the last couple of years at Barcelona and Atletico. But a Griezmann in the France shirt always starts for me. Has
I
to
mean,
play.
my feeling about Griezmann at Barcelona, and we can talk about this next week in more detail, is that I think he's a secret agent for Atletico Madrid. Like I think he was brought to
Trojan horse.
Barcelona specifically to destroy that club because Griezmann did destroy Barcelona. Like he
He fucked
really
up their finances. That's for sure.
yeah, badly. I think they bought him one time because they bought him twice. I think one of the times they bought him for like 120 million, and they sold him back to Atletico for like 15. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a crazy time. Barca was spending because it was him, Usman Dembele. They were spending so much crazy money.
so
Um,
so Thuram and Griezmann, like okay, this is a good front three, but are they really the best?
I like Thuram. I think his tournament's still opening up. I watched him at Inter Milan a fair bit last season. I think he's got something about him. He's just a bit. He had some good chances today. He had a header or two, I think, today as well. Or was it? Sorry, yeah, today against Belgium, he had a good headed chance. He'll come good. I think he'll come good. He's still young, but I like that he's got the legs to. He always goes and tries to take people on. He's got the legs for it. He doesn't like give up or like get because he got elbowed. He got kind of roughed up a bit in the Belgium game today. He didn't kind of lose or his head didn't drop. He's up for the battle, which is important as an attacker.
So their midfield is Rabiot, Chouameni, and Conte. And
This is where I
Conte,
think I don't
I know
trust.
that Conte has a lot of accolades. I know that he's one of the
Oh,
best midfielders of the past 10 years,
oh.
unquestionably. I'm not gonna attack him, but like he is old. Is he playing for Saudi now? He's playing for
So
Saudi.
he's been playing in the Saudi League. So what happened was when he left Chelsea about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it looked like his legs had gone. He just couldn't
Yeah.
do the same thing he was doing because N'Golo Kante is like having two of him on the pitch. He's
Yeah, he's
everywhere.
a
That's
workhorse.
a unique selling point. He's insane. I actually think him going to Saudi, everyone thought he's going to Saudi, he's done. They actually recalled him back into the French team for this tournament.
Yeah.
And I think what's happened is, and I might be wrong, but just based off what I've seen so far, the Saudi League is nowhere near as rigorous as the Premier League, not as demanding on you. So as
Yeah,
you're
not
getting
at
older,
all.
playing in like again, quote unquote, easier league, a bit more like you don't have to
It's
bust
just
a gut.
happened with Ronaldo. Ronaldo is playing. I mean, he's not like tearing up the tournament, but he's playing well.
So
Yeah,
I think N'Golo Conte having like a year and a half off, 2 years off, crazy like end to end Premier League non like playing matches 3 times a week. He's actually up rested and he's got the legs for this tournament.
yeah.
Do I think he plays at the
I'm just
World
saying, like,
Cup in 2 years?
if you
Probably
look at
not.
the France roster, it's a lot of people where we say in a France shirt they play really well.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, is good for France. You know, like
yeah.
because
Not
you
knock.
look at them
Yeah.
4 years ago, it was just a bunch of stars, right? But like now, it's like a bunch of people who like they play well for France, which is kind of saying like she's hot for Des Moines, Iowa. You know what I mean? It's just like they're playing well in this situation, right? And like Rabiot, you said last week he's playing well for France, but like
Yeah, he's not a player. He's not a player like United have been linked with him. I hope we don't sign him. He's not a player I think that fits the profile or will do well in the Premier League. He's a bit slow on the ball. He does well in Italian.
Upamecano is out of the big games right now. Like
He
Mike
he's playing. I
Maignan,
think he played today, but he had a decent game. He actually made a tackle today, which 2 3 years ago would be a typical like you'd expect Upamecano to make. He's had such a dip in form in the last
yeah,
2 years. When he made the tackle, our commentator was like, "Oh, great tackle by Upamecano." I was like, "No, that's about standard. That's about standard
yeah,
Upamecano 2 years ago." Like we're saying it's a good tackle because he's fallen off that much.
yeah.
Even Saliba, who's been an unbelievable player at Arsenal, he's not had the best tournament. He's a bit indecisive in the tackle. His positioning is not the best. He gets France in trouble sometimes. Hernandez
And
has come to the rescue a few times. Saliba's been a little bit disappointing. I expected him and Van Dijk to be the two stalwarts in defense for this tournament. And even Van Dijk and Netherlands, they've had some issues, but maybe it's because I expect so much
and
from them.
Mike Maignan, I think he's a great up and coming keeper. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a great keeper for the next 5 years, but he's kind of like the Yamal a little bit of keepers because keepers, you know, Donnarumma aside, like keepers really get into their element when they're like 26, 27.
Yeah,
Like, but they
definitely.
also play until they're like 38, right?
Yeah, 26,
Um,
27 for keeper is like 20-year-old for an attacker. Like you're just getting
exactly.
21. Yeah.
And so I'm just saying, like, look, so one of my big knocks on Mbappe has been, like his big accolade is winning the World Cup in 2018, which, by the way, his last big accolade was 6 years ago. Like, time's a ticket, Mbappe. But putting that
I mean, to be
aside,
fair, he did score a hat trick in the last final. They just didn't. They just lost on penalties. To be fair,
they
he
didn't win.
did.
But anyway, so my big knock on Mbappe has been that like he shows up a lot for France, but the 2008 France team was one of the most stacked international teams of all time. Like
Yeah.
you put it up against some of the old Brazil squads, and it's there, right? So like you know, how much of that do you really give to Mbappe in 2018? All that to say, if he wins this year with France, I'm going to be very impressed because this team is a lot of like people who are kind of aging, kind of tired. He was great 3 years ago. He'll be great in 2 years. That's a lot of this team right now. So, I don't think France are going to beat Portugal, but if they do, then I'll have to kind of change my tune on Mbappe a little bit. Like, this is his team and he is playing really well. I think
So
Belgium played hard today. They really
going
brought
back,
the game.
yeah, Belgium made it tough. So going back to the midfield, just remind me who the three midfielders were again today. Rabiot, Conte,
Rabiot, Chouameni, and Conte.
Tchouaméni. Okay, so of
He's
the
good.
three,
He's solid. Like
the
obviously.
the 2018 World Cup winning team, you know who was a real unsung hero for me? Everyone talks about Pogba and obviously Conte was Blaise Matuidi. Blaise Matuidi was a game changer in that French team
Yeah.
because he just did the absolute dirty work and let Pogba and Conte play, and vice versa. Conte did the dirty work and let them play. Pogba could do whatever he wanted to do because he had two absolute soldiers. Now, Truman is great. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely rate him,
Yeah.
but who is he the Pogba? Is he the Matuidi? Because Rabiot's neither. Rabiot I don't rate like that. He just, like I said, he's
Yeah.
doing well in the French shirt. And Conte is still Conte, but his legs aren't the same. But he's doing extremely well. So they're missing one of that. Can Tchouaméni be that? Is he a Pogba or is he a Matuidi kind of guy? And then what the
I
fuck is
think
Rabiot?
Pogba.
That's where I think France falls short.
I think Chouameni's kind of a Pogba. For me, Pogba is kind of like an enigma wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in a croissant.
You talk
Like
about you talk about a guy
he
that only
doesn't
showed
really
up
make
for
sense
France.
that much.
You
but
talk about a guy,
he contributes, but he just
yeah,
doesn't really make that much sense. You know what I mean?
contributes for France. You talk about a guy that only showed up in a French shirt. Fucking Paul
That's
fucking
fine,
Pogba,
but yeah.
6 years at fucking United, didn't do fuck all.
But like Paul Pogba can score from like midfield, and so can Chouameni.
Yeah,
Like
he's got
Chouameni, I
Tottenham.
think back what was it, 2 years in the World Cup? He scored this blazing.
It's
I think
England.
it was against England, right?
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah,
I remember
and it was
it.
like that was like a Paul Pogba type goal,
Yeah,
which doesn't
good
make
hit.
sense.
It was a good hit. I was actually mad at the keeper at the time. It was a good hit. It was a good hit.
Yeah,
I
but
know. So
so you think France is being Portugal, or do you think Portugal is being France?
in,
Remember, Ronaldo is Mbappe's hero, and I don't think they've have they played against each other. When was the last time
uh,
they played against each other?
have you know what? The last time they played each other was Euro 2016 final, but I don't think Mbappe was playing that time.
Yeah,
Some France. So it's crazy. Spain and Germany was the Euro 2008 final, and
yeah,
France Portugal was Euro 2016 final. So you have like two former finals being played
yeah.
on that bracket, which is just tells you how crazy stacked it is.
I mean, it's
Um,
one thing that I don't like about football that much is that you really have like one-sided brackets a lot of the time. I mean, this happened in the Champions League this year.
usually
This
it's
happened
pretty
last year.
Usually it's pretty split. I think England have been very fucking lucky in the last about 4 to 6 years with the brackets. We've kind of fallen. We've avoided not
Yeah,
just because of the brackets, but I think big teams have fallen early in the competitions as well. Like Germany,
yeah.
this is the first time in 3 competitions they've actually gone outside of the group stage. So since 2014, so they've done well. It's yeah, it's not normally this stacked on one side. I mean, if Italy had stayed in the tournament, not to Switzerland, it would have been
Yeah,
England Italy, which is still a big thing.
that's true.
Netherlands are still on our side. If they get over Romania and then beat whoever the wins out of Austria and Turkey, I mean,
I do
Netherlands
want to
would
nail
be
you
great.
down on this. I want to
Go
nail
on,
you down on this. Portugal, France. Who do you have?
France has to be France. They have too much.
Okay,
They have
so
to.
I have Portugal. So we have Spain, Germany. You said Spain, or you think Germany?
Germany
Okay,
be
so
too
we
much for
agree
them.
on that. I have
Yeah,
Portugal. Just because the fans at home who are still listening after an hour and a half, water picks. So Netherlands, Romania. Let's just assume Netherlands win. Let's just
I hope
assume
they do.
Austria wins because they might not, but like who knows? But like we were kind of assuming that Netherlands, Austria. Who do you think is going to win?
I hope Netherlands do it. I'd love to see England Netherlands semi final, just like Euro '96. I would.
Yeah,
Yeah, Euro '96 we met in the quarterfinals. And we lost to Germany in the semis, but I would love to play the Dutch. I would love to see England versus Van Dijk because I'm sick of these Liverpool fans. So it'll be nice. They'll probably pick the Netherlands as well. These goddamn traitors. Watch. They'll be like, oh no, we love Van Dijk too much. They
so
turn very quick.
yeah, I mean, we love Virgil van Dijk. There's that song. I'm pretty sure you've heard it. He's our
Yeah, yo,
center half. He's a number four.
it's based off the
Like
yeah,
my problem with Netherlands is honestly like I hate to keep on bringing up this problem, but like it's my problem with a lot of teams in international football is like okay, like who do they really have on the Netherlands? Like who do they really have? So they have Gakpo, who
yeah.
like I can
Who's
tell you as
turning up?
I can tell you as a Liverpool fan, Gakpo is like our second string at this point.
He's
Like
having a
he
good
does
tournament. He's having a good
not,
tournament though. He's turning up for them. The tactics are suiting him. He's having a good tournament.
he
He's
is,
having
but
credit. I don't like giving him credit. He's Liverpool, but I have
yeah.
to give him.
No,
He's
I'm
doing
just
well.
saying that like look, like as a Liverpool fan, I can tell you that like Cody Gakpo is not like he shows up a lot internationally, but I wouldn't put my faith in him. He really is in our second string right now. Like if I'm starting a Liverpool front three, like a game we have to win, it's
Yeah,
Salah, Nunez, and Diaz. It's
yeah.
not
I
Gakpo.
respect that. Yeah, I rate Luis Diaz very highly at Liverpool. So yeah,
I
I can
love
see.
Luis Diaz. He's
Yeah.
great. Um,
Um,
so yeah,
I
so
mean,
the
Xavi
Gakpo, the
Simmons, Xavi Simmons,
Depay.
Depay's up there. He's scoring 1 or 2 goals now with the silly headband. Okay, he's earned it now because he scored 1 or 2.
Malin.
Hate to give Daniel Malin a lot of pace. His decision making needs to be a bit better, but I think Xavi Simmons for them is the guy that makes them tick. He's the one that's gonna unlock tight defenses and make it work for them.
But like, is Xavi Simmons like winning a game for you against
He
England?
could. I mean, technically, he scored against France. They didn't allow it. I would have said he won the game that one. The
Oh, I
Netherlands when
completely
they
agree with that. Yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
I put Xavi Simmons as a game winner right now.
I
Um,
I think Netherlands like the big thing the place where the Netherlands have their stars is in defense. right? They have
Mhm.
Van Dijk, De Vrij, Ake, who I'm surprised he's become a star, but he is a star on Manchester
Worked his
City.
way up under, yeah, he's done well. When they first signed him, they signed him for like 50 million. I was like, this is crazy. I don't know what they're doing. They're getting it from Bournemouth, but you know what? Good
Yeah,
on him.
I was really
He worked
surprised
hard
by
under
that.
Pep.
And he played his first year as a backup. Like he was
Yeah,
the backup.
he worked his way into the team. They sold Cancelo mid-season of the treble-winning year, and then Aki was playing at left, and then Akanji on the right. It was interesting. Yeah, they did well.
Yeah.
Um, so
So like how does Netherlands beat you? Like if Netherlands beats you, it's basically they play a defensive game and then beat you 1-0. Is that
counter.
it?
I think it's counter attacks because they're missing those two absolute killers in midfield in Frankie De Jong and Toon Cooper Miners.
Yeah.
Both different type of players. One controls game. One is an absolute energizer bunny, just runs his head off up and down. Missing those two means the midfield is where most teams can get at Netherlands. The defense
Yeah.
has been a little bit shaky, but again, that's because I think they're not protected from midfield as much. But I think solid low block, and then they sort of maybe just catch you on the counter. The deadly pace. They have Malin on one side, Gakpo on the other, Depay down the middle. I think he's in the squad. There's a youngster named Joshua Zirkzee. He's from
Yeah.
Bologna. United are very close to signing him. I don't know much about him, but it'd be very interesting to see if he like starts playing a bit more in the tournament and get nicks a few goals here and there. I haven't seen. I don't think he's played yet from memory, but so there's
So
some talent off the bench. Koeman is not a good coach in my opinion. He's another Martinez where I think how the fuck
yeah.
do they get these jobs? But I think the Dutch were just a little bit desperate after Van Gaal. I don't think Ronald Koeman stays manager long there.
So I think our predictions for the quarterfinals on the other side are Netherlands, England, right?
Yes, although Austria did beat Netherlands in the group stages 3-2, so it's interesting that they might meet each other again. Let's see if the
Yeah.
Netherlands have revenge. But that
Austria,
Austria,
Austria is good.
that Ralph Rangnick, he's no joke. He came to United a couple of years ago for 6 months, and I love it because he just came out. He said, "You know what? This fucking club needs open heart surgery. You need to gut this shit from the inside and fix
Yeah.
everything." And we just did. We were supposed to keep him as a consultant, but the American owners the Glazers got so offended by his comments, they just got rid of him full stop. They Ten Hag
But
gonna work with
I
him.
think with the next week the Euros. So I think what we can end on is tell me the news, man. What happened
Oh,
today? I've been following
oh,
F1 news all day. So
oh, I heard a little bit about F1 where Toto Wolff like gave like some sort of team radio chat to the guy that won Russell, whatever, and he was like, "It's the stupidest thing I've ever done in my career in F1." Is message a guy when
so
he's like breaking or turning or
do, uh,
something.
do you do you want me to give you a quick briefing on what happened in F1
Sure,
for the fans
shoot.
at home? So basically, I'm gonna try to give the history as quickly as possible. But basically, so from 2014 to 2000, no, 2013 to 2020, Lewis Hamilton won everything, right?
Yeah,
And then, sorry, 2014 to 2021, Lewis Hamilton won everything. And then in 2021, Max Verstappen went head to head against Lewis Hamilton. Um, and it got really aggressive. Like Max Verstappen has his fucking elbows out. And Lewis Hamilton has this aura of a nice guy, but he is as dirty as everyone else.
I
Anyway, so they
believe
had
it.
a really dirty, angry win. It went down to the last lap of the last race of the year. And F1 is usually tied up like 5, 6
Yeah.
races before the end of the year, but this was literally the last lap. It was a very controversial lap. I'm a Max Verstappen fan, so I'm not going to litigate it here for people, but Max is right. We're all right. You all suck. Fuck you guys. Anyway, for the last 2 years, it's just been the Max show. Like Max was so dominant last year. So the way the points work is, there are 2 drivers per team, and so like every team has the 2 drivers' points together. If Max Verstappen's teammate had scored 0 points all year, Red Bull would have still won the constructors. Max Verstappen
Really.
by himself outscored every other team. So
Jesus.
the maximum amount of points you can get a weekend is 25. Max
Yeah.
Verstappen averaged 25 points a weekend.
So he won every fucking race basically.
Yeah, so there are also these things called sprint races, which are like mini races on a weekend, and like you also get a point for fastest lap. So like technically the most
Adds
amount of
up.
points you get is like 34, but basically you get 25 points for winning a race, and he averaged 25 points. It was insane.
So
I
he's
think
doing
he
okay.
lost like
He's
three
doing great.
races all year. Anyway,
Yeah.
so this year, basically our team suffered from too much winning. Like we basically, like, if you remember that quote from The Dark Knight Rises where Bane was like,
Victory.
victory has defeated you.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened. So basically, at the beginning of the year, the Verstappens went had a war against Christian Horner, who's our team principal, and they leaked to the press that
I heard
Christian
about
Horner was
this.
sending dick pics to his assistant,
Yes, I heard about this. I heard about
and
this.
it broke
Yeah.
up the team. And then our chief car designer Adrian Newey left the team.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so we started to dominate, but then the other teams started to catch up. Anyway, that's where we are right now. We've been dominating for 3 years after a bloody win, and we're starting to lose races here and there. We're starting to lose races. Anyway, so this guy Lando Norris, who has been best friends with Max Verstappen, basically came at for Max Verstappen this week, and Max Verstappen was just like, no. And so Max Verstappen, again, every driver drives dirty. And so Max Verstappen did some dirty driving, and Lando Norris was basically like, so they hit each other.
I did.
Both of
Yeah.
their tires blew out. Lando Norris had to retire his car. Max still finished the race, finished fifth, and then Lando Norris was like, I lost all respect for Max Verstappen, yada yada yada. And Max Verstappen was basically just like, he didn't say this, but it's just like, bro, you've won one race in your entire career. I've won 3 championships. I don't give a shit about your respect. And then Lando had something that was hilarious where he was just like, he's up in the championship by 70 points. Why does he care about this race so much? And Max was like, he has some quote where he's just like, if I wanted to come in second, I would just stay at home. What's the point of that? Anyway, so there's a huge, so you have all of these Lewis fans who hate Max, who have been like biding their time for the past 3 years. And now that this happened, they're all coming out of the woodwork and attacking Max. And all of us Max defenders have been defending Max. So you saw by my F1 videos, that's what I was talking about, was like,
Catch
defending
him though.
Max Verstappen.
I don't really have a
Anyway,
horse.
it's
I
going
don't
to
have
be
a
war
horse.
this year. I'm excited. If
I don't
anyone
have
that
a.
choose a year to get into F1, this is the year.
I might pick it. My dad used to love Schumacher back in the day and stuff like that. I know people. I know some chicks that they go crazy for it. They love it. But I just don't like Lewis Hamilton. So anyone that's anti-Lewis, I'm like, all right, I
Dude,
root for
Lewis
them. So
Hamilton, the thing that I
team,
hate about Lewis Hamilton and also Lando Norris, I hate people who pretend to be nice but are
yeah,
vicious.
fake. It's the fake. Yeah, it's the wolves
Max
and sheep
Verstappen
clothing.
is an asshole. He's openly an asshole. And
That's
he's an
okay.
asshole.
Know
He's
what you
just
stand.
who he
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
It's just like, and so it's honest. So you're
yeah,
a Red Bull fan now. We're gonna be
yeah.
Red Bull fans together. I'm gonna text you during the week. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be a great time.
I need someone to get me into. I know our friend Chris loves the F1 as well, but he's not as passionate. I don't think he has a team or personally likes more. But I'm just anti Hamilton, so I'm yeah, fuck it, Red Bull, let's go.
Dude, Max basically, so Lewis Hamilton won 7 championships in a row.
I know he's tied. He's tied with Schumacher. I don't want him to break the record. I want Schumacher to keep his record. I'd be
Dude,
really pissed if he lost
Lewis
it.
Hamilton hasn't won a single race since Max Verstappen beat him.
Good.
Max didn't just beat him, he crushed his soul.
Isn't he moving to Ferrari or something next year? Something crazy like
Yeah,
that.
dude. So people are talking about that. It's like he's moving to Ferrari. So Lewis Hamilton isn't even beating his own teammate. Like his own
Yeah.
teammate, George Russell, is outscoring him. George
He's the
Russell has
young
won
English
2
guy. Yeah.
races.
I
Like,
like him. I like George Russell. I like George Russell
so
coming up.
Ferrari fans are like, we're getting Lewis Hamilton. It's like, great, you're getting a washed up. It's like if people are like, we're getting Cristiano Ronaldo. It's like, great, like enjoy.
I'm really again watching from a fair distance. Like I would really
Yeah,
hate Lewis Hamilton to like beat Schumacher's record at
he's
fucking
not going
Ferrari.
to.
Like I really hope
Not
he
going
does.
to.
I would really piss.
So
I'm really pissed off that he's at Ferrari because that's already an insult to me. Schumacher's
one
legacy.
funny thing about George Russell is that George Russell looks like the bad guy. Like he looks like the guy you should root against, but he is the sweetest person
Nice
in the world.
guy. I've seen
He's
some
so
interviews with
nice.
him. Yeah. I've seen some interviews.
There's one scene, by the way, if you want to get to F1, I recommend Drive to Survive on Netflix. It'll get you into it. Like
I've heard it's
you'll
decent. I've heard it's
But
decent.
there's this one scene of the show where like, so he's on Mercedes and like these fans come up and they're like, and he's like, oh, do you want an autograph? And they're like, oh no, we want Lewis Hamilton's autograph. And he's just like, yeah, that makes sense. I'd rather have his autograph too. And it's just like, oh, he's so nice about this. You know what I mean? Like he's so, like he looks like a prick, but he's actually a nice
Yeah.
guy. Leonard Norris looks like a nice guy, but he's actually a prick. Anyway, people watching this, you all are now Max Verstappen fans. And next to Max Verstappen fan, I'm going to text you during the race this weekend. You're going to watch. Anyway, That was a nice
Football.
diversion. Tell me the news. I really don't know any of
Okay.
it.
It was a lot. So there was a lot going on throughout the day. I think like so Chelsea signed that young Barca kid. That kind of came out of nowhere. But mainly it started off with like big Man United news. So we've been trying to get a director of football in under Ineos. The guy from Newcastle, Dan Ashworth. We didn't think we were going to get him this year. He was on gardening leave. We had to pay a fee of 20 million, which is insane.
Yeah, I love
Somehow,
that you call it gardening leave.
yeah,
It's such a
gardening leave.
British thing.
So what I like about Ineos is it doesn't look like they were doing much, but they've gone back to the old school Ferguson days where they had it under wraps so well. So long story short, Premier League profit sustainability rules for the financial year ended as of today because it's the end of June. Today's July 1st. Well, it was
Yeah,
July 1st. It's July 2nd for us here now in Europe. So um so people's financial situations have changed. They can now start spending money. Clubs need to record some profits. So Newcastle were going to be in the red. So I guess they just sort of wound down the clock in negotiations. We said we were going to go to court over this and we were going to
yeah.
lose. They just played it really smart. Apparently, we got him for 10 million or even less, which is still perfectly fine. I have no problem paying 10 million or less. 20 million would have been extortionate. And the best
Yeah.
part is he starts immediately. This is a guy that's helped build up Brighton. He helped build up the England setup, which is why they're successful now. Very, very well sought after, great connections. We're not going to get ripped off in the transfer market anymore. So Dan Ashworth in the building, brilliant. No, that's
So
a lot.
I have to
Yeah,
say one thing about Newcastle the past 2 years, has it been 2 years now since
yeah.
Saudi took over?
Yeah, yeah,
So
two.
I think this is the thing that's really surprised everybody about Newcastle is that they haven't made a lot of splashy moves. They really
They don't
like
trust the manager. They don't
their
trust the manager.
biggest their biggest acquisition has been Kieran Trippier, right? Like, can you think of
Or even
anyone?
Alexander Isak, the striker, 60 million, which is still not that big. It was like they made a
Yeah.
few. Tonali 50 million as well, but then now he's
So
banned for nine
all this
months.
to say that like I rate Dan Ashworth like they become a contending team without
His
spending any money.
watch his Look at his Brighton signings: Moises Caicedo, Caro Mitoma. He bought all these players for like 5, 6, 10 million, and now they're all worth. Well, Moises went for 150
Yeah.
million to Chelsea, so he
And
buys them, kept them
those
well,
5-10 million margins matter a lot. Like if you can
massive.
get a player for 10 million, 10 million less, 10 million less, 10 million less, that's $30 million.
Adds up. It adds up, especially in United where
But
we've been
that's what
spending stupid
Liverpool
money.
does. My
Yeah,
big problem with Liverpool is that we do it a little too much. Like
regardless.
we'll never
Yeah,
spend on somebody. Like we were literally gonna get Mbappe and we didn't get Mbappe. We
yeah,
do you know who else we're gonna get? We're gonna get Jude Bellingham.
yeah. That
So
was a scary one.
in
That was
my
a scary
chat, I started referring to Jude Bellingham as future Liverpool star Jude Bellingham because
You just
it was done. It was
was very
done.
close.
And
Yeah, yeah,
then we could have gotten him for 50. We could have gotten him for 50 million.
yeah.
And we were
Yeah.
like, nope,
Different.
he's worth 47.5 million. So we're not gonna get him.
Yeah,
But
crazy.
anyway,
So,
I think that's a good signing for you guys. I like that.
they've kind of assembled the Avengers of like
Yeah.
football backroom staff. So you have Omar Barada from Man City,
Yeah.
chief executive officer, director of football Dan Ashworth from Newcastle. I think sporting director Jason Wilcox from
Sporting is
Southampton.
good.
So
Sporting knows for shit.
yes, so like we've got now, and then we've just even today we took one of Chelsea's ex guys, youngster, 39-year-old
Yeah.
Christopher Livell. Very good at managing multi-club signings because we're trying to get that Nice defender, Todibo, the French guy. But
Yeah.
UEFA, because he plays for Nice and Jim Ratcliffe owns part of Nice and he owns part of United, he can't switch clubs. So they're just performing on a very elite level, which we haven't been used to for about a decade. So
Yeah.
United fans woke up today, I was like, oh shit, Dan Ashworth is in. Fast
That's
forward
good.
2 hours, Matthias de Ligt, the Dutch defender that plays for Bayern Munich. We're very close to signing him for 40 million pounds. That's come out of. So we were in for Jared Brantway at Everton, but he was costing us 80 million. So they're like, no, we're not going to spend 80 on a guy that's decent. We'll just pay for an even better version at 40 million from
How
Bayern Munich.
much
It's
did
a
he
bit of
go
a
to
risk.
Bayern for? Was he
About
go for like 80?
60. He went for
6.
60. So he went from Ajax to Juve for about 60 and then Juve to Bayern for 60. So if we get him for 40, he's 24. He's had a few injury issues, but other than that, rock solid.
But
Brilliant.
also center backs play long. Center backs are kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
goalkeepers.
he
I mean,
should be fine. Good signing.
not as long as goalkeepers, but they play long.
Yeah,
He's
it should be up there.
24.
So
My
Touchwood,
one concern with Delete for you guys though is that like I mean, we're talking about this with goalkeepers of the give and take, is that like he is very slow. Like
He
I
looked
think
no, no,
I
no.
could have.
He seems slow. I've seen him sprint against like Chiesa and people at Juventus. The guy can move. He looks slow. Trust me.
Yeah.
That's everyone's been saying today. All the fan channels. He's too slow for the Premier League. His sprint speed. I don't need you to be fast if you can read the game. Same as Lisandro Martinez. Martinez isn't crazy fast. He just reads the game really well. So
The
that's one thing I'm not worried about. Harry Maguire is slow. Maguire is slow and doesn't read the game. That's the problem.
the problem is that like I mean you guys don't play like Klopp does. Like if he was on a Klopp team, it would be real
Highline.
liability.
Yeah,
You guys
highline.
play a little bit more back than Klopp, but like I don't think you want because like you're right that like there's a lot of reading the game, but at a certain point, like you do get into a foot race with a winger,
Yeah.
and you don't want somebody who can,
But that's
you know,
again where someone like a Luke Shaw, someone will stay back a bit deeper. Hopefully, we can have him
that's
cover
true.
Diogo Dallo. But the big thing no one's really talking about
Wan
is,
Bissaka is also fast.
yeah, I don't think he'll stay. I think he's gone. But
Yeah,
Ten Hag's legendary Ajax team of 2019, guess who the back three, like it was Onana in goal, Lissandro Martinez, and Matthias de Ligt. So he's almost
yeah,
rebuilding the playing from the back and getting the right people in. So de Ligt
yeah.
coming in for 40 million, good deal. And then there's a
Wait, is
PSG
Martinez is he fast?
Martinez, again, he seems a lot faster than he is. He's decent fast, but his reading of the game, he's never in a
Yeah.
bad position. So that's where they
Because here's the
get
thing:
together.
if you just have one fast defender, that's enough.
Yeah, just
Like if
cover,
one
just
guy who
cover.
can cover, then
Yeah,
that's good. Like you
and
don't necessarily need to.
yeah, exactly. So I think the problem we used to have is Maguire and Lindelof are both slow as shit and can't read. They're basically
Yeah.
blind defenders, if you ask me. They can't read the game for shit.
I mean,
So
Matthias Ligt can read very well.
yeah,
I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's because we were talking about like there's not a lot of Mourinho type balls, but like he is a Mourinho defender. I think like he's
oh,
the guy
big,
who wants
tall,
to like a
strong in the
close
air.
ball.
He's a leader. He was captain of Ajax at 19. Like he's got it bad. The only asterisk against him is just that injury record. So if we can just keep him match fit, him and
Yeah,
Martinez together will be a solid partnership next season, touchwood. And then in the midfield, just in front, it's a young player that plays for PSG. They signed him from Sporting Lisbon last year. Manuel Ugarte. He's Uruguayan. This guy is solid. He's definitely slow. Like he's not the quickest. But if
yeah.
he stays at number 6, I just need him to break things up. I need him to be a destroyer. He's
Are you
like an
guys still
upgrade.
playing a 4-2-3-1?
I hopefully not. I'm hoping we're playing a 4-3-3, but it might be a 4-2-3-1. I hate that fucking formation. But
Yeah.
even Manuel Ugarte, we can get him for 40, 50 million pounds. Reasonable price for a young 23-year-old solid holding midfielder. I don't know why PSG is selling. Luis Enrique doesn't want him. Fuck it. Bring him over. So
But
these
I
two, three
mean,
signs.
in a 4-2-3-1, the holding midfielder doesn't have to be that fast necessarily.
Exactly. If we play a
Uh,
go on, sorry.
because they kind of play as like the fulcrum of the offense. So
Mm-hmm.
you want someone who's good at passing, who's good at like a little bit of defending, but like having someone who can run, as long as you have a center back.
If it's a 4-2-3-1, it's going to be him and Kobe Mainu. And Kobe Mainu will have enough legs to cover it if he's too slow. And
Yeah,
Kobe Mainu will be the one picking the passes on the half turn. He'll basically be like our Declan Rice, basically, this guy, Ugarte. And he is
yeah.
solid. I've seen PSG. I remember him seeing him at Sporting Lisbon. We were linked with him the year before he went to PSG. Liverpool are also very strongly linked with him, but I'm hoping we beat them to his signature. He's a solid, young, and I love South American defensive players because they just fucking go for it.
You
Martinez,
guys still
Ugarte.
have Varane, right?
No, he left. He's gone. He's gone.
Where's Varane now? Is he in Saudi?
He's looking for a new club. He's probably going to
Oh,
end up in Saudi, but he's looking for a new club. But it was like his contract was expiring. He's spent 3 seasons, won 2 Mickey Mouse Cups. Good on him. Just let him go in peace. There's a lot of
that was
wages off.
that was this year, right? I'm not
Yeah,
like
just now.
completely
No,
off
no, no.
here.
He literally his contract just expired yesterday, so he's done. He's a
Okay.
free agent.
Yeah, but
So
you still have Lindelof, you still have Maguire. So if you have
they're
a
hoping to bring
deleted,
in. So we have De Ligt, Martinez will be the starting ones. If we bring in another centre back, I think we also have Willy Kambwala, young French centre back that played a little bit last season. I think we're looking to sell at least one, if not both, of Lindelof. Lindelof's linked to Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce, which is great. Crack on. We don't even need that much money from just take him, please. But if
yeah,
we can get rid of Maguire and like bring in another centre back anyway, like a Jean-Claire Todibo from Nice that I was saying earlier, or someone else, then our squad is looking
yeah.
fucking
I
decent.
mean, I think with delete, you want to have one more
Just to
starting
cover.
center
Yeah,
back so that
yeah,
delete
just to
can
cover.
play 32 games a year. Like
Exactly.
that's what you
I
want.
don't think I don't see him playing 38 games a year just based off his injury record. I hope that changes,
Yeah.
but realistically, even at Bayern, he missed 20 games last year, so we
Well,
have to
I
manage.
mean, So it's a question of fake injuries or real injuries, right? Like you want to have him like because a lot of times a manager will say a player is injured in order to sit them because they don't want to like do the whole press brouhaha. Plus,
Mhm.
all players are always injured. Like they always have some sort of
Yeah,
injury,
there's always
right?
always carrying a knock. Yeah,
So
yeah, it's true.
if he has like 6 games of fake injuries where it's against Brighton, well, not Brighton, where it's against like Fulham or something like that, like that's fine. Like, and you
Yeah.
just put the other guy in, you rotate them, like that's perfect. Yeah, and like that midfield, I agree. South American midfielders are great, and again, like you guys have a lot of good attacking talent. So
That's the thing. If we can just get the attacking talent working and then just plug the gap in midfield where Casemiro didn't have the legs. So have Ugarte next to Menu, have De Ligt next to Martinez. Luke Shaw hopefully stays fit. And if we can replace the right back or get an upgrade on left back or right back, let's see. We still have Tyrell Malacia. He's been injured all year. He's a good young Dutch fullback. Then our
I,
team is our starting 11 starting to make shape of one that top two, top three at least. We should be in the questions. Should
but
be
I
competing.
think that defense a lot of times comes out of offense, where or sorry, offense comes out of defense. Because you remember that first Casemiro year, like at least the first
Yeah,
half of the year, where he just
yeah, he was
transformed your
good.
defense and your offense started to work. Because
Yeah.
if you're spending all of your time defending, you don't have the ball, like
Big thing is
and also it's a question of confidence, I think. Because like when you have
yeah,
a good defense behind you, you can try things that
and
will
not worry
work.
about yeah.
But like if you have bad defense, you're like, you have that keep away thing where like, the right wing passes to the right back, passes to the
England football
midfielder.
basically. England football.
Yeah, it's just
I
terrible. I fucking hate it.
think the big thing we missed this year was Lissandro Martinez. Even though he's a centre back, left-footed centre back, if you see the way he plays football, he will play that defense splitting pass. He'll spray the ball 60 yards. He can play in between the lines. We've really missed him the way Ten Hag wanted to play. So you have
Yeah,
Delict, Onana, and him, and then just spray the ball around from the back. And we're solid. Ugarte and Mainu in front of the back four. Then it's starting to take shape. There's that young striker I mentioned, Joshua Zirkzee. Apparently, we're very close to signing him apparently this week. I don't know much about him, so let's see. It's a bit of a strange one because you have Rasmus Højlund, who's also very young and raw.
yeah,
So it's like I thought you would partner him or have someone a bit older try and help
yeah.
promote, like help mold him or guide him. If you've got both youngsters that are a little bit raw, yeah, it's competitive, but like I don't really see. It'd be nice to
It's
have a
also bad competition, I think. Like I don't like when teams do that. It's kind of like what they were doing with the wingers. Like you brought in Sancho and then you brought in Anthony and you brought in all
yeah,
these other
exactly.
players.
Yeah.
It's like
But
who
hopefully Anthony, yeah. Sancho
who's
should be as well.
whose spot is this? You know what I mean? Like if you have a young guy and an old guy, it's like, okay, this is the young guy's spot in 2 years, but it's the old guy's spot now, and like you work together. I mean, I love Delict. I think Delict is like he's like a soccer savant in defense. Like he's not gonna
He's
pass the
classy.
ball, he can do
He's
anything, but
classy.
he's
Yeah, yeah.
a defender. Like
Yeah.
he's a pure defender. And any other big stories?
And then finally, just finishing on United's, our famous striker, Ruud van Nistelrooy, apparently he's coming back to become the head striking coach, which is just perfect for Højlund and
Oh,
these boys.
nice.
It'll only help them. And then there's a Dutch coach. I'm going to fuck up his name now. Zeki or Heki or something like that. I can't remember his name, but he's also coming in. So Ten Hag's like revamping his backroom staff a bit. So it's going to be like a very Dutch influence, possession based, killer instinct kind of thing. I'm glad Ruud van Nistelrooy is coming back. He left United a little bit acrimoniously in 2006, so it'd be good to have a legend back in the backroom staff. So it's been a really good news day, which is very rare for Man United.
Yeah.
Just waiting, you're waiting for the banana peel. So let's see how tomorrow goes. But so
Yeah.
far it's been a week. And then, like I mentioned, Chelsea got the young Barca kid. Aston Villa made a couple signings today. It just all kind of started like while the Euros were on, the Italy game, so actually the France Belgian game was on, and then when I was checking Sky Sports News, it was just kind of rattling off really quickly. I was like, it's a lot going on today. Like July
Yeah.
1st, everything. A lot of clubs are going to start doing their business now because it's the new financial year, so they don't have to
Yeah.
worry about sustainability rules under Premier League. That's done as of yesterday, so that you're going to start seeing signings ramping up, players, people being signed up, especially now with
Yeah.
teams eliminated from the Euros. Players are now free to do medicals and get agents to agree deals for them with clubs. So
Yeah.
it'll be very interesting now the next 2-3 weeks.
By the way, we just pulled a haterade where this is supposed to be an hour. We're coming up on 2 hours right
Yeah.
now.
Holy shit. Oh yeah, fuck, it was one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap up. So a deck is gonna be our next haterade. We're gonna figure that out. Are you excited?
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, I'll watch the first 10 minutes. And you tease the vaccine story, so there'll be a lot to hate on. Don't worry, there's a lot to cover. Uh, topics. I have the England. I mean, we're gonna bring up the England performances as well. I was saving some of that for Haterade.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some good rounds. I need to watch the rest of the other one with you and Vijay.
Also, VJ got pissed because so I told you I was telling Ganek off camera, like I'm gonna start flooding the channel with videos. Because I'm trying to get it to grow. And VJ has a conspiracy theory that the reason why this haterade hasn't got a lot of views so far is because I put too many videos up today. So
Oh
I'm gonna
no.
post this tomorrow because I don't want VJ to get
Yeah.
butthurt.
Oh no, don't worry. Like honestly, the Haterade when I saw it, it was about an hour into when you uploaded it. I saw it on my YouTube, and it already had like 5, 6 views. So it's. I'm gonna watch it now again. So the views will definitely tick up.
Yeah, I mean, what he does, I mean, VJ, I fucking hate.
That's just Vijay for you. It takes you ages to get him on the show, and then all he cares about is the numbers at that point. It's like, well, it took
Dude,
us so long to get him on. So
we're at 30 views so far. What is he
that's what I'm
talking
saying.
about?
It's gonna uptick. People are messaging me right now in group chats saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, new Hater episode is out." Like I'm
Are they
seeing, I'm
really?
like, yeah, Chris and all the boys. They're all like, "Oh, there's a new Haterade." I'm like, yeah,
I
check it out.
I tell VJ the people love Haterade. The people want Haterade. Like
Everyone wants to hate a little bit. Let's be
dude.
honest.
So he
God,
like so I was flying, and I mean we're 2 hours in. I don't think anyone's listening at this point, so I don't think anyone's get mad for me saying this. But like, so I'm flying from like um Brazil to Paraguay, right? And like I have two modes when I fly. I'm either doing stuff, or when I travel, I can't do anything. Like I'm just
yeah,
like my mind's. And so this weekend was a I can't do anything weekend. Like I literally we filmed Haterade on Friday. I posted it today, right? And literally I was at the airport and VJ was like pestering me about like editing it and changing some stuff out and stuff. And he was just
yeah,
like texting these questions. I was like, VJ, I'm at an airport right now. And he's like, okay, cool. So what about this? I was like, dude, I'm at an airport. I'm not answering these questions. Just kept on coming at me. And I was like, part of me is like, well, he's vested. I'm happy
yeah.
about that. But the other part of me is like, bro, chill out. I'm
Now he's
at an
got to
airport.
leave it
I'm
alone.
not
This is just the
thinking
beginning.
about anything right now.
Just the
So,
beginning.
but yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna try to get him to do it this week. If not this week, we'll do it next week.
No problem. No
Next, gonna
problem.
be on Haterade. We can get
That'll
more
be
people on Haterade, more people on these shows. It's
literally
gonna grow.
just people love the hate stuff because honestly, I don't know about the rest of them, but if you ask me, like, oh, what's your favorite part of like Chappelle show back today? Player haters ball was the funniest skit. Obviously, there was a bunch of funny ones. But player haters ball was always the funniest shit because they're just roasting each other. Darnell, Charlie
Yeah,
Murphy, Dave Chappelle, they're just fucking crack. Ice T for fuck's sake, they're all cracking shit on each other, and it was just the
yeah.
funniest shit. So
I mean, I think the nice thing about Haterade is that like we just like you know I, I just go off on shit and I just don't really
yeah,
care. I'm uncancelable. Like I have like a bunch of consulting clients who don't know about any of this stuff. So like if I become like an internet meme, like by that point I will get so many subscribers that I can make money off of this. So I'm like I don't care. Like I'll like he's like shit on therapy, and then I go hard on therapy, and I'm just like
I enjoyed
I'm
that
just
episode. I
saying what
enjoyed
I
that.
was thinking, bro. I was just saying what I was thinking. Dude, I'm gonna stop recording right now because I feel like we've really like we'll still talk, but uh